right, everyone. Hello and welcome in. Took a couple of days off, but we are once again back to the grind. Needed to rejuvenate and recharge the old batteries, if you will. So here we are with the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Kansas City tomorrow for their final preseason game against the Kansas City Chiefs on Saturday. So we are dangerously close to the beginning of the regular season for 2021. And we've gone through OTAs, we've gone through mini camp, we've gone through training camp. The preseason is about over. And we've had some questions answered, but we've had new questions arise along the way. It's been a long month of preseason, right? Even though they shortened it and we're short one game this year, we're only doing 3. It still feels like this has gone on forever, if I could be honest. So what questions do we still have about the Minnesota Vikings heading into the regular season? We open with the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati on week 1. By the time we get there, I don't know if all of my concerns are going to be solved or answered, or at least, pointed toward a direction that I will feel better about. But I figured today we could talk about what our concerns still are. Have all of our questions from training camp been answered, or are there just too many new ones that popped up for us to feel comfortable about what this team can accomplish this season in 2021? So I'm going to share with you my list of 5. Let me know in the comments, what are your main concerns going into this regular season that have not been answered or addressed in training camp? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of overlapping, because I know we're all concerned about the offensive line. Like, we're all concerned about guards. We're all concerned about, all of those things. I think some of that is going to get answered this weekend with the final preseason game and cut downs when this roster gets trimmed to 53. But if we can avoid, generalities, and like what I'm going to try to do with my list is be more specific. There's a couple individual players on here that I'm a little concerned about going into the season, and I will try to justify that as we go forward. So let me know what your concerns are, and then let me know what you think of the list that I have made here in the comments, and see if anybody out there has a good take or a solid opinion about why they may be leaning one way or the other. So here we go. My top 5 concerns heading into the regular season. This isn't a session to nitpick. I'm not trying to be negative. This is just how I generally feel after having seen what the Vikings have had to offer so far in the preseason. And, this Saturday's game not included, but I'm sure it will be more of the same, if not less. So my honorable mention, just to sort of get this out of the way, is backup quarterbacks. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I don't think it needs to be fleshed out any more than it already has. Jake Browning is not it. Kellen Mond is a project quarterback who is a very, very long way away from me having confidence in him starting a regular season game. So we definitely need to hit the market, find a reliable veteran backup quarterback, somebody like kind of how I feel good about Jalen Hurts being the starter in Philadelphia this year and Joe Flacco being the backup. Nobody wants Joe Flacco to play football, but if he had to, we would be at least confident in his competence to manage a game, if I could put it that way. All right, so let's get to the actual list. Number 1, my top 5 concerns heading into the regular season. Number 1 is depth at safety. I don't know what the deal is with Xavier Woods so far at this point, but I don't know if he's just struggling. I honestly don't know what it is. I know he hasn't played much in the preseason, but his name doesn't pop up very well. Maybe somebody can point me to some positives for Xavier Woods during training camp and preseason this year. But depth at safety is a concern. Josh Metellus has been injured. Cameron Bynum clearly is, barely getting his feet wet with the new position that he has. And the other reason it concerns me is because we've seen Harrison Smith become a target for this league when it comes to ejections, right? We saw it last year. He got ejected. I think he got ejected the year before that. So, NFL officials have it out for Harrison Smith. If he gets ejected and removed from a game, that could spell doom for this safety group if he is not able to participate. So I think we need to get a veteran safety. I know Will Parks was released. His name has been mentioned by some reliable Viking beat writers. Number 2 on my top 5 concern list heading into the regular season is Rashad Hill, because this isn't the guy that any of us expected to be the starting left tackle at all at any point during the season. And yet here we are about to roll open the beginning of the regular season, and I expect, at least it's been my prediction, and I'm still standing with it, that he is going to be the starting left tackle for at least the first month of the season, weeks 1 through 4. And his outing in the preseason game against the Colts, where he gets beat by Kwity Paye, is a red flag. So I don't know how long he can withstand. He's going to go up against some serious talent at the edge rusher position these first 4 weeks. We've got Hendrickson in Cincinnati. We've got Myles Garrett against the Browns. So Yeah, he's going to be tested, and hopefully he can pass the test. Christian Darrisaw, hopefully he can get healthy and acclimated to the Viking scheme in no time flat, because I don't think Rashad Hill can carry the workload over the long haul. Number 3 on my list of top 5 concerns, Anthony Barr, a player we haven't really talked about too much on this channel, but the injury, whatever it is that they're not disclosing is concerning now, because the reports lately have been that he is likely to miss maybe 1 or 2 of the first games. So we could not see him until week 3. And that's concerning, because this linebacker group, as Mike Zimmer has stated over and over again, hasn't played well, and they need to step up. And I would be, dismayed to see Anthony Barr removed from the starting lineup for the first 2 weeks, or however long it may be, because Eric Wilson isn't here anymore. Eric Kendricks can't do this by himself. I don't think that there's any way. And then you're going to see a situation where probably the safeties have to creep up closer to the line of scrimmage more often than not, because you need tacklers up there to stop the run, because that, I think, is Mike Zimmer's focus this year, is building the defensive line to stop the run and then not let them get to the second level. So if they do get to the second level, and we have like Troy Dye and Nick Vigil on the other side, or Chaz Surratt, whoever it may be, it's kind of concerning, because the linebacker group so far has underperformed, and Anthony Barr would be a huge miss, despite what I think many of us think of him and his contributions to this team over the course of his career. Number 4 on my list of top 5 concerns for the Vikings heading into the regular season is Adam Thielen. Not so much from a performance perspective, but just from a general health perspective. He was banged up last year. He's been banged up in training camp. He's getting up there in age in terms of, a wide receiver. I think he's still got many good years left, but, can he, stay healthy for the long haul? Can he, participate in all now 17 game season? So he'll be tested this year. He's lower on my list of concerns, but it is still kind of concerns. Just like one of those things in the back of your mind. It's like, should I be worried about that? And I'm not really too worried about it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. It's probably at like a 4 or 5 right now. So it's not that bad, but I think it's worth mentioning. And finally, number 5 on my list of top 5 concerns heading into the regular season is Clint Kubiak, the offense, and the play calling. And I just kind of bundled all those together into one thing, because they're all related to each other. What is the play calling going to be like once they decide to take, the chains off of this offense and let it flourish? Because this was a very highly ranked, statistically successful offense last year, and I'm worried about regression. I think that they are definitely a unit that is a top candidate to regress statistically. So the play calling is going to be interesting. How much of his dad is going to be an influence, because he is basically just taking over for his father. Will Mike Zimmer give him, the luxury of being able to get creative and do things that maybe we're not used to seeing, maybe we haven't seen since that short DiFilippo era. So yeah, it's a little bit of a concern, I think, anyway, because I don't want to see, handoffs to Dalvin Cook when it's 2nd and 15. I don't want to see, a whole bunch of checkdowns. And Mike Zimmer's even talked about this himself in his press conference, where he doesn't want to see 20 checkdowns to get us down the field. He wants to push the ball down the field. Maybe that's, his frustrations finally coming through about the offense. We always talk about him being such a defensive focused oriented guy. Maybe he's finally seeing the writing on the wall that he needs to push the ball down the field, and I hope they do, but that is still a concern that I have. Those are my top 5 concerns going into the 2021 regular season. Let me know what you think of my list, and what is on your list. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.